Hi everybody, it's Cheryl at Creative Wreaths and Flowers, and this is my first live in quite a bit. I kind of been down with a bad cold or rhinovirus for my grandson's pediatrician. So I've been kind of just hanging out, making a few wreaths, and also I picked up a ton of boxes from a friend. Um, that I quit making wreaths and had supplies. So Mike and I have been working really hard to try to find a way to organize it all. Maybe I can, it's kind of dark over in that corner, but I'll do a little pan around, sorry. He made me this storage. Oops. And I do believe I have almost all the mesh that I'm not storing at the moment on it. There was a wonderful selection of fall and Christmas items, and I've decided not to take them out until after we get through the pastel season, which for me will probably be sooner, maybe end of July, beginning of August. I get myself confused. I'm making St. Patrick's Day and Easter wreaths, and a few days ago I thought it was already March. And we're just starting February. And today's Groundhog's Day. Hi, Pig. How are you? I'm trying to see if I can find this. People use their phones and laptops to see their comments. I haven't quite figured that one out yet. Oh, to wish I had a teenager in the house again. Let me see. No. I don't know. I thought maybe it'd just come up on my thing, my timeline thing, but it's not. Thank you. I went today. I did. I decided life's got to get better after what I've been through the last 2 weeks with this cold. And so I went and I cut it. I can't stand it when it's on my neck. So if you've seen it, it's just been pulled back in a ponytail, and I double it all up so it doesn't hang down my back. So I went today and I said, cut this off. Can't take it. So I'm kind of here and hanging out. Anyway, I had gone to Joann's and I found this really pretty pink working form. So I want to work on that tonight, make an Easter wreath. I've finally finished, I think, unless I have an order for one, my St. Patrick's Day wreaths. The Mardi Gras Day wreaths are finished that I have available. And yesterday was my target date to open my Etsy store, but I didn't get it opened. It kind of intimidated me. So the little gal that I watch, who I like to call my mentor, is supposed to be putting out something to help people with Etsy. So I'm kind of waiting for her. I got the boxes in, and so I have that done. I've got PayPal and Google Wallet set up. And so until I really sit down and figure out Etsy, because I haven't even bought off Etsy, so it's a whole new experience for me. So I guess we can get this iPad out of the way. We're just going to unplug it and move it. It won't lose power. And tonight was a nice quiet night. There's no hockey game, so yay, because I can't go live when there's a hockey game because we have the one room, and Michael likes to watch his hockey, and I like the Bruins too. And sometimes wordy dirds are said, or you'll hear people screaming, shoot, shoot, shoot. So I figure that's not a good time because he'd probably scream over me, and sometimes I get excited. Kind of like when a Husker fan watches a Nebraska football game. Luckily, hockey is all we watch now. Once in a while, I'll turn on the Royals baseball. Might pick up a Kansas City Chief game. I'm not into football much. But Etsy will be coming up within the next week, I'm hoping. But anyway, so I'm going to pan down, and I've been practicing all day in my head what I'm going to say, and I cannot remember darn thing. But anyway, I'm going to pan down to the table where we're going to put together. I have you on the side now. I've got a different angle view than I'd had before. So I'm going to pan you down here. And I'm hoping it's close enough so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to ask me. You can, if you're not watching this live, you can watch it on the site later and leave me a message or a comment. And you can use the send message button. It sends me a private message. And I'll get back to you. I'm usually sitting by a computer or an iPad at all times or the phone, so I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Anyway, this is what we're going to work with tonight. This is our 15-inch pink working form, which I got at Joann's. It was, what does this say? Fresh picked spring. I don't know, it's kind of hard to... Someday I'm going to get this. I do the same thing when I try to park my RV with my truck. I kind of go backwards. But anyway, so I'm just going to move these top ones in the middle. We're going to start with the bottom ring. And the method I'm going to use tonight is called the poof method. Well, the first round. And then we're going to go back and put ruffles. Some people do a poof ruffle method all at once. I'm not that good yet. I'll get there. I don't make many puff, or I hadn't made many puff wreaths because I haven't had the 21-inch mesh, really. I've stayed with the 10-inch and the 6-inch. But now I have a great variety of the 21-inch mesh. So I'm going to start making more poof ruffles and poof curls, I believe they call it. Oh, yeah. A little thing. I bought myself... I've acquired a few things. I bought myself this little glass cup to put my glue gun in, and when the glue dried, it must have dripped out the end and it was stuck in the cup. So I thought, oh God, I hope when I heat it up it'll... And then today I got myself a little round glass thing so I can just set it down there if I want. And I'm not going to be using it tonight, but I bought myself a glue pot. This is when I work with the flowers. I've done this on I did this on the one custom order that I did when I put the yellow flowers on. These are fantastic because you can just dip your stem in and put it right on your wreath. You don't have to worry about trying to hold your glue gun and everything. I'm not very coordinated. And I've only found 5 of these. I don't know if Miss Lamba took one off or not. But I did go to, I believe, Joann's again. And I got these made by Mod Podge. These are heat-resistant finger protectors. And I have found that is a very necessary item because hot glue and I are not friends. Most of my burns have healed except for this one. And actually, that wasn't even the glue gun's fault or my fault. It was the fault of the letter I was trying to put on the Valentine's wreath. It fell down and tried to stick to my finger. So anyway, I'm going to open these bottom, back to our wreath. Going to open these bottom ties up. There are 8 of them, I believe, on the bottom and 7 of them on the top rung. So I don't cut my mesh online because today I cut the mesh, and what I use is a soldering iron. And that helps me to contain the fray by melting little knobs, I think is what they call it, on the mesh, so I don't have as much fray because fray drives me crazy. And since I don't have a real steady hand yet, I just decided, okay, I'm going to use my solder iron today. I also use an electronic rotary cutter, and I also have a Fiskar cutter, so I have my options. Then there's always the good old-fashioned way, scissors, but I'm really not good at that. But anyway, to do our puff method, and I'm thinking we have plenty of this, this is one of the partial rolls I picked up in my deal. It's a white and a white and pink stripe. I don't know if you can, it's kind of hard to see it so far away. And I'm going to do a poof around the bottom and a poof around the top. And then I'm going to back, I've got 4 colors cut in pastel colors. And we'll put those in as ruffles. And I cut them at, they're 10-inch mesh, and I cut them at 12-inch length. And I do that. A lot of people use bigger ones. Some use smaller ones. I do 12-inch. A lot of people like to do a 30-inch ruffle. I have found, however, about 20 inches with my fingers is about all I can handle. So sometimes you have to double up the mesh to get more fullness, but everybody's choice, right? So I'm not even going to cut this off because I'm going to drop it down on the floor so it makes it easier to work with. And where I'm going to start where there's 2 ties basically right together. And that is because when we go from the bottom to the top, we're not going to cut our mesh. We're just going to continue it up. So we're just going to gather our mesh up. Into a tail. Hello, Patty. How are you? And I will call you tomorrow, I promise. Then I'm going to tuck this under to kind of keep some of that nasty looking frayed end off. I'm going to cut these off. And I learned this trick. I watch a lot of a lady, her name's Lori, and she does hardworking moms. And she's a wonderful wreath maker. She's out on the East Coast. And she makes me jealous because they could have a store called AC Moore. And I hear it's the best craft store around. And they got some really pretty mesh stuff. And I'm a little disappointed I can't get out there, but I don't feel the trip there. It's worth it. Now, instead of closing this first tie, and this is the trick I learned from her, because when you come back around, you're going to go back to this tie. So you're going to have to open it up. What I'm going to do, as she suggests, I'm going to use a zip tie. I like zip ties. I can't really grip them well. I actually bought myself a zip tie gun that makes it zips it up for you and then cuts it off and makes it really tight. However, while playing with the zip tie gun, because it came with no instructions, I broke the zip tie gun. So I actually bought that. It wasn't a very expensive item, and I got it at Harbor Freight. So the next time I'm over in Council Bluffs, I will go by Harbor Freight and try another one, because now I know what I'm kind of doing. I thought the turn button on it was for the links, because I thought it was supposed to push it all down in one try and then snip it off. But you actually work the handle like this until you get it down where you want, and then you do it hard and it cuts it off. So I was actually taking the tension off of it for how hard I wanted it to push, until I turned it so much that it fell off in the spring. Anyway, I ended up taking it apart and putting it back together, but then it didn't seem to want to cut my tie off. So I thought, oh well, try again. Anyway, I'm just going to tighten this. I'm going to turn this down to the bottom and pull it as tight as I can. And then I'm just going to take and snip off my tie, kind of turn it so it doesn't scratch anything. I don't finish the back of my wreaths at this point. Some people do. I don't, just because right now I don't have anything to finish them with. I don't have the foam or anything. I mean, you can put a piece of ribbon around it, but normally they don't look bad, and who looks at the back side anyway, right? Now, what we're going to do, these are normally, and I have not measured them, to tell you the truth, don't know where my measure tape went, about 4 to 5 inches apart. So how I'm going to do this is I'm just going to take my mesh like this over to the 2 ties over, bring it back. You want to make sure your bottom is open. Then I'm just going to stick it right in here and give it a twist. And I'm not going to twist it down more than once, because we will go back and put a ruffle up. And we're going to do that. You know, I have a rug down here. I maybe should have moved it. Maybe I'll do that, because the mesh is sticky. Then I'm just going to do that all the way around the bottom. And this is makes a nice poofy wreath. And it's also a pretty simple method to put the mesh on. Like I said, I want to make sure my poof, or my opening, and I'll show you why here in a minute, is at the bottom. other people that do this all the time are much faster than I am. And really, people go, oh, do you do tutorials? I don't consider these tutorials. I just consider these showing you how I make them and being online and just having fun, because I will no way profess to be an expert. In fact, I call wreath making my therapy, and I enjoy it. It makes me happy. And if somebody likes one of my wreaths, then that makes them happy. And then if everybody's happy, I've done my job. Which sounds funny to say because I really haven't had an actual paying job since, I want to say 2005. No, it had to be later than that. Yeah, it was. It was like 2010, 2012, because I can't remember the first time I went to Alaska. I actually got a job so that he could have fun in Alaska. So, and I went to work just for Christmas season, ended up staying 2 years, and then left because nobody needed to be treated the way I was treated by people 30 years younger than me. So I said, to heck with this. And I said, I'm not going to work anymore. And so I didn't. So I officially became retired at that point. And I want to say, let's see. Linda got married in 2013. So it must have been 2011, 2012. But I sit here a lot because I am losing functions in my lower area extremes, such as walking and so forth. So I was getting bored. I don't even remember why I thought about making a wreath, to tell you the truth. But I did, and I looked it up on YouTube, and I said, I think I'll try that. And that's how Creative Wreaths and Flowers was born. Because I made 35 wreaths during the Christmas period and only gave 9 away as gifts. So in my bedroom, well, some of them aren't there anymore, but I basically have at least 20 wreaths on my wall in my bedroom hanging from Christmas. So we're back around. We've gone around our whole wreath with these poofs. They're approximately 10 inches. And we're back to our first tie. And this is where we started with our, right here, with our zip tie. So what we're going to do, I'm going to make sure that poof's down, and I'm going to put this poof, maybe, in here. And then I'm going to give it a tie down. And that finishes our lower ring, or our lower rail, whatever they want to call it. And then what I'm going to do is we want to do the same thing on the upper ring. So we tell our hands to grab our wreath, or our mesh. And I'm going to start right here because this is the closest tie, and I chose to start here because of this tie. And you just take your mesh, gather it up, pull it tight, and put it up here by this tie. And then once again, we're going to take our zip tie, and we're going to zip tie this up here. I'm trying to think this, I'm a pretty logical thinker, so I'm trying to think of, because it kind of looks like it's going the other way, but we're going to do it this way anyway. If you always make one and you don't like it, you just tear it apart and try again. I've done that with several. I have 3 out in the garage that I hung out at Christmas time, that before I started sealing and really knowing what was going on, I made them for my son's house, Sean's. And he lives, by the way, Patty, next time I talk to you, ask me. I know what his address is now. And I think your friend might be across the street. But yeah, I've actually memorized his address now. Anyway, we're going to cut that tie off, and as you can see then that we have, it's kind of hard to see it. So we've taken our mesh up here, and then we're just going to start again, gathering our mesh around. And I'm not going to poof this until I have it all. Some people poof as they go, and I am actually thinking I'm going to wait to poof until I get done. Just because I would constantly be poofing. I'm going to move these lower ties. I should have opened these out. I didn't. I move my lower ties out of the way for now. And we're going to do exactly what we did before. And this helps make your poofs kind of uniform. I don't know. These rings look like they're kind of on there a little funky, but mesh is pretty durable too. This is poly mesh. I can tell by the feel of it. It was an opened roll, so I don't have specifics on it. But it's real pretty. I also have one like this, but it's got a blue stripe. So those will be good to make spring wreaths with. Because a lot of people, I love petal style wreaths. However, a lot of people would much rather see a ruffle or a poof wreath. So that's what we'll do. Although I've started a new style where I take smaller mesh and on the bottom I make a small petal. And then I put, I'm hoping we have enough. And then on top of that, after I put that on, and I put that all on with zip ties. Then what I do is I go back and put the ruffle on top, and it just adds a little backing and a little bit more color. I did the last St. Patrick's Day wreath I had some gold mesh. That was the most horriblest thing in 21 inch to work with than you could ever imagine. And so what I did was I used that again and did a poof on the bottom of, just on the, I think I just poofed the bottom of the St. Patrick's Day wreath, and then I kind of covered the top. I'm kind of picky. I don't like to see the ring itself. I don't have to. Some of them are kind of see-through, but if you put them like against a door or a wall, then you can't see. So it's only when we're going to be really close, guys. We're really close. But anyway, so that's a new style that I'm kind of doing. Kind of like that. But yeah, I'm going to be, wow, in the market to make at least one more Easter wreath, unless I have orders for them. And then I want to start, since May's coming up, I'm going to be going home. I'm actually going to make a saddle wreath, or they call them saddle forms. They go on top of headstones. And I will be doing that with just flowers. I don't think I'll be putting any deco mesh in it, and then I'll be taking it home to put on top of my parents' grave. I've been collecting blue and purple flowers. Dad's favorite color was purple and flowers, so I will be doing blue and purple flowers in it. I don't know, there'll probably be others that I use too, other colors, but that will be my main focus, is blue and purple. And then I'll take that home over Memorial Day. So I don't know if I did this quite well or not. Okay, when I go to do this, I'm actually I'm gonna put it in, but I'm gonna leave the tail so I can tuck it. Grab the right one. Just trying to grab the one from the bottom. I'm going to make sure I can tuck this tail, and I'll show you. This is the end of our roll, and so that worked out good. And it's also the end of our hoops. So I'm actually going to cut some of this off right here. Try these scissors. These are from Dollar Tree. You get them in the dollar section in the kitchen department. They're Betty Crocker scissors. And I'll tell you what, these things are fantastic. They're sharp. You want to eat a walnut while you're doing it. It's got a nutcracker. Mike tries to steal them and cut things with it. And I told him if he breaks it, he owes me $1 and has to go buy me a new pair. That man can break a handle on anything. Vacuum, broom, mop, scissors. In fact, I had another pair of scissors I was using and he did break that. All right, now that I've cut that end up, what I'm going to do is take this over here. And then I'm going to get my last one more zip tie. And I'm just going to zip tie this down under this proof here. And when I use zip ties, I use the 4-inch ones because really sometimes the longer ones are a little easier to work with. But for me, the 4-inch ones work well. They're good on my hands. And they're the perfect size for me. So I just use 4-inch ones. And I got those at Lowe's. I got a big bag. So you can buy little bags, but I just got like 1,000 because I use them all the time. Now with your poofs, I'm going to turn these ties in so I can find them. What you do is you want to go back. Remember I said you want to leave the opening at the bottom. And that's because you're going to go back in. You're going to grab your 2 sides. And you're going to poof them out. And this wreath won't be sealed. When I make them, when I'm not online, I'll usually make the base form with the mesh. And I went out and I bought Krylon Max. It's an indoor-outdoor clear acrylic sealer. So these are some of the points I'm not overly good with. Other people can poof better than I can poof. But as I was saying, what I do is I did have a can that I got at Walmart in the craft section, but I kind of used it up. So when I was at Lowe's the other day, because Menards does not carry Krylon, and that was the brand I was looking for. So when I was there the other day, they had lots of Krylon, and I was looking. They had glitter, and they had white and black, but I wanted clear because you don't want to discolor your mesh. And I really wanted something called UV protector. However, they didn't have a can that said UV protector on it. So we're going to try this. Now, the lady said it says indoor outdoor on the can. Hence, there should be UV protectant in it. I don't know. But that's what I bought. And I have sprayed one wreath with it, so we'll see what happens. I'm that kind of gal. I test what I do because I don't want to tell you nothing, no big stories. And I want you to know what I did. It's like, of course, it was one of my favorite wreaths. I made a big snowflake. And I didn't realize you were supposed to seal them before you put on the decorations. I didn't put any ribbons on it. I'm just now graduating up to the point of being comfortable to put ribbons on these. So I actually wanted to hang my snowflake up outside. One, it's huge. If it wasn't a local delivery, I don't think I'd be able to mail it because oversized boxes, a 22 by 22 by 10 box. And to me, that's not oversized. That's just a box. They charge, if I was going to mail it to California, say, I don't know where in California, because I just talked to the little guy at the post office. But because they consider that an oversized box, the price to ship it would have been $45. I didn't even right now charge that for any of my wreaths. So, I mean, if I was shopping, I wouldn't pay more for shipping than the item. So, but I learned the secret. I think if you keep them shorter than 8 inches, then it doesn't charge you as an oversized box and it becomes more reasonable. So when I do get on Etsy, I think I'm just going to take and do a flat rate fee of $20 for shipping. And that should cover anything. I might lose some on a few, I might gain a little on a few, but in the wash, it'll all come out even. And that's easier for customers than trying to have to calculate shipping and add that on later. So $20 flat shipping fee, all through USPS, unless you want to have it delivered different, and then we can talk about it. You know, I thought I poofed them all, but maybe I haven't. So I swear I poofed this one already. This is why I don't poof as I go, because I would spend all my time poofing. Anyway, I just want to go around this and make sure I have all the sides turned down. For some reason, even though I have the sides down, it's kind of like they're kind of, I don't know, they're backwards or something. Oh well, they seem to be poofing wonderfully, so we'll have a nice big poofy pink thing here in a minute, hopefully. And that's the other thing too. I make most of my own working wreaths. This one I just happened to see at Joann's tonight. Kind of thought, ooh, that's cute for Easter or spring. But I normally just add pipe cleaners or Chanel stems to regular DT Dollar Tree forms. And if anybody's in the area here by Omaha, Shadow Lake Dollar Tree today had a good amount of 14-inch ring forms back in the floral section. I bought a case of them, so I didn't need any. But I was like, oh, look, Mike, they actually have them, because when we were looking for them last fall, it wasn't happening. There weren't any. Of course, everybody was getting their forms for Christmas, but you can also get pretty smaller ones for a pretty decent price at Michael's, but I don't go to Michael's very often. I mostly go to Hobby Lobby, Joann's, because that's here in Bellevue, and the Dollar Tree. And I have 3 Dollar Trees I like. The smallest one's in Bellevue. Then they have a larger one at Shadow Lake. And I think the cream of the crop for Dollar Trees is in Council Bluffs. And the excitement there is there's a Dollar Tree, and right next to it is a Hobby Lobby. And my youngest daughter's into makeup now, so right next to it's an Ulta. So there you go. Boom, boom, boom. And Mike likes to go there because that's also the area that, well, it's over by I think it's by the Best Buy. But that's also where Harbor Freight is. Because you used to just be able to get it in Omaha, now it's over in Council Bluffs. And I didn't know this, but it's also where the only Gordman's is. I know that's open now, because the one in Shadow Lake and the one in Bellevue closed. But the one in Council Bluffs is still open. So there's a couple tricks for you. So anyway, it's hard for you to see. I'm sorry. This is what the poof looks like. This is our first round. And actually, with this pink and white mesh, it covered this pink green rather well. I'm impressed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to my right here. And I cut, like I said, I cut 4 more colors. 3 of them are very thin and pastel-y, and then I have the blue. That was the closest I had. I have to have a drink, I'm sorry. But closest what I had to a semi-pastel color. Since there are only 15 ties, what I did was I cut 4 of the lavender, 4 of the pink, 4 of the green, and then only 3 of the blue, because the blue is the darker color. So on the top will be off. And I'm going to try to fix it so that 2 of them aren't side by side, but we'll see if I can accomplish that. Anyway, I'm just going to pick a tie, and I think I'll just start with the lavender. And these are cut in 10 by 12. They're 10-inch mesh, and I cut them 12 inches long. And someday I'm going to have a bigger home with a bigger craft area so I can have a bigger table. I'm going to do the ruffle method. And what you do basically is you pick the center of your ruffle, since it's 10, so 5, so I'm going to work here on 15. And also what's really cool on this is because it has the one metallic thread, I'm just going to use that as my guide. And you just walk your fingers up it. I'm not very good at this either, but I'm getting better. And when I'm done, if I can pinch this appropriately, it should look like a little bow tie or a little butterfly. I like to turn them down. So when I have it pinched and where I want it, I'm just going to open my tie, stick my ruffle down in there, close it. I'm only going to close it one time again because I do have some ribbon I'm going to use. I didn't think we were going to be able to use ribbon tonight because Mike has it in a great big box because the ribbon holder isn't made yet, just the mesh holder. And then I'm just going to fluff my ruffle, turn all the sides out. It's kind of frays and sticks to itself. And it just adds a little pop of color there. Gives us a little bit more coverage on our ring. Then I'm going to use the green one, I think. Maybe. I had this all laid out, and I had to run to the base. And Miss Lamba thought it would be a fun time if she got to hang out in it, because, you know, it's her favorite thing. So then I had to make sure I had them all. They also say spread your fingers out, but maybe that's a coordination thing. I should have Melinda try it. She's probably the less coordinated of all of us. And one thing I noticed while I'm doing this is that I had a little fray there. We'll just knock it off before we... And then I like to kind of shape it to see if I've got it pinched where I think it's the right spot. We'll open up our tie, stick our ruffle in, and tie it down once. The only thing I don't have cut ready to go is the ribbon, because I couldn't find it till later this afternoon, and I thought, well, I would give you the thrill of seeing how I actually cut that. Not that it's anything fun. I actually made myself, I think it was from a Cheerios box. Hardworking Moms had showed how she does her ribbon. And so I had decided to employ the same technique because it's very easy and it works wonderful. Then I'm going to take a pink one. I have to check on this hands. There you go. Do not chew on that. Give me 1 second. Lamba's up here by me on the couch. I'm going to hear it cracking something. Mike threw his jacket on the couch and she was chewing on the zipper. She's in her chewing phase. I guess we'll cross our fingers getting molars. So we're hoping this isn't something that she continues to do for the rest of her natural life. So anyway, we're just going to go around now the bottom. And then, of course, we will once again go around the top and just cut our ruffles. I was kind of worried to use the pink since I used the pink and white mesh, but I thought, oh well, it'll help bring out the pink just a little bit more, I guess. And then the blue. That's my other thing. If I don't, usually I cut them, sometimes if I use the rotary cutter, I cut them all at one time because you can cut up to 15 pieces. But when I'm using a my solder iron, I can only do one piece at a time or they'll melt together. So when I cut them all together, it works out for me because I layer them so that they're in the right order. But when I cut them one at a time, they just hang out, and then I'm not sure. Now, this is a much thicker and a much heavier mesh than these are, but it's what we have, so I'm going to try it, see if we like it. So I could come back, but since there were 8, I thought, well, and I don't feel like right now I can buy any mesh, so, or I should buy any mesh. So I figured just go ahead and try it. And I also think if I use the soldering iron, I have quite a bit of deep dollar store mesh, and it's really pretty. But I'm thinking if I use my solder iron, it'll work. So we're back to number 1 color, which would have been the purple or lavender. I guess I made Lambda match left. Oh well. If she loves to craft, sometimes she'll get up on my table. I don't know if you've seen my pictures on my page, but I cut a bunch of mesh. And I think I was cutting the mesh for the big snowflake. So I was using the 21-inch, not now. She rolled around in it up here on the couch. She was all excited. She thought I cut it just for her to play in. So we had to have a little talk about that. Wow, that's... Either I apparently didn't tie this well or I untied. Anyway. So, purple one down. So it said on my iPad, it's supposed to be warmer tomorrow. I hope they're telling the truth. Really tired of going from like 50 degrees one day to like 10 degrees the next. I mean, they say that doesn't cause you to get sick, but it can't be that good for you. Good green. Lambda, come here. You're not going out right now. I'm busy. Michael's upstairs with the baby because you can't craft with the dog and baby. So in a minute, I may have to get up and just shoot her upstairs and tell Mike to let her out back. I thought I had everything so we could have a nice, quiet live time. And now the dog's gonna... Usually somebody walks in or makes noise or doesn't know I'm on camera. I like that when they just pop through the door and find out I'm on camera. I still have approximately 45 minutes before Melinda will be home. Mike's upstairs with the baby and Nick won't be home until later. So I think we're pretty good. It's the other thing, trying to coordinate everybody's schedule so that nobody... Because, like, if you're doing a YouTube video, which I was going to do, but I've decided that's not for me right now. But if you're doing a YouTube video, you can pause it and go back and, you know, before you, if you're not live. And you can go back and edit it, whatever. But when you're on Facebook Live, there is no pause, stop, wait a minute. There's just, I'm here or I'm not. Because I did that the other day and Mike didn't know I was doing it. He was actually leaving. And then he walked through the door about 2 seconds after I started. So I'm like, whoops, I'll be right back. And had to shut it off. Because I don't know if he was looking for his phone or I was looking for something before he left. Wherever he's going. So I'm like, Mike, really? You know, it doesn't seem like this, but this is my job now. He's very supportive, though. I can't ask for a better man. At least right now. You're wondering what I'm doing. I was thinking I had more than one tie left. I was counting ties. I thought I was off. But oh, there's 9, not 8. Because usually they're on a ring. There's usually 9 on the bottom and 7 on the top. But this one had 8 on the bottom, and I thought that's so cool because then your pattern will work out. Because when you have an odd number, if you're using, I mean, there's just no way to fix it if you have an odd number, and 95% of them, I would say, have an odd number at least on top. And a lot of them have an odd number on the bottom. So, something. All right, I am going to take 1 second here, open this door and let her out. She's starting to scratch. Be right back. Why do you do this to me? Go. Funny little dog. She wants to go out, you open the door, and then she looks at you like, what? And then you have to like not pay attention to her. You can see her in the background. And then maybe she'll go out. And maybe she won't. Okay. So now we've put all of our ruffles on the bottom. Like I said, especially with, I don't know if it's my lighting. Should get my expert over here. Sean streams all the time, so. But anyway, so I've got all my ruffles on the bottom. Now I'm going to go and put a ruffle on the top. Like I said, we only have 1 blue ruffle, and the rest of them then are the green, the pink, and the lavender. Sorry, I was having a moment there. And I think because the 2 blues are here, I'm going to put my 1 blue right here so that it's kind of spread out. I was afraid the blue would just be way too overpowering since it's a thicker, darker color. So that's why I chose not to cut the 3 of the blue and leave it odd man out. And that might not work out well because the other colors actually are lighter, so maybe I should have put the blue, but well, that was the decision I made, so we'll just live with it. I'm just going to stick it right here. And then that's what I'm going to do is a pink. I'm just going to kind of spread them out and go for it. It's all creative. We call that creative freedom, creative right. Unless you have a custom order, you're free to create exactly what, I wouldn't say what you want, but what it turns out like. So, pink one here. And I think what is happening here? Okay, here we go. I do kind of turn out the ruffles when I get them in and spread them out. And then I think I will put the green. Actually, it's really quiet in this house. It's kind of scary. And also a little tip, if you make these, when you tie your ties, always try to do them uniformly. I didn't do that at first. I just kind of was haphazard with them. And it makes a whole lot better sense if you always tie them the same way. Because then if you go back to untie them to put your other accessories on, you're not confusing yourself on how they're twisted. I've had many times when I was making the earlier wreaths that I would twist in the opposite direction, and you sit there and you twist forever, and then you realize I've just made this really tight and it's not accomplishing what I want. So you have to go back and twist it a whole bunch of times the other way. And then we'll do the lavender. They do have a really cool technique, and I really do want to start trying to use that. And that's they do use a poof, but they use a 30-piece inch of mesh. And then about 4 inches down on each end, they either curl it, which is just rolling it in a circle, or they'll ruffle that portion. So, I don't know. When I make curls, I must not do it very well yet, because the last time I tried curls, and I was using the smaller mesh, the 6-inch mesh from Dollar Tree. But the curls all came out looking like, remember back in the early 70s and late 60s when we used to use plastic rollers? My mom used to put plastic rollers in your hair with the bobby pins and the pastel colors, and each color was a different size. That's why they were color coordinated, like pink and blue and green. And I had a whole wreath that looked like I had bought a brand new set of those rollers. And I thought, oh, this is not good. I don't like this look at all. I ended up taking that all out and doing poofs and then ruffles. So. But that's okay. Are you girls still there? It's hard to tell. I don't think anybody's here with me anymore. That's okay, though. I will say this. I am going to talk with Lori at Hard Working Moms, and she has actually offered an invitation for people to do lives on her. It's going to be hard. Lives on her channel. She has a lot more subscribers and followers. Like I said, she is like a great teacher. She does tutorials, so she's wonderful. And I might do a live over there just to see if I can handle more than a couple people, and if I can follow along with questions and things. Usually, a lot of times I'll try to have Melinda with me when I'm doing a big one that way. Although last time, instead of just answering questions or asking me to answer questions, she actually kind of like chopped and asked questions herself. So I don't know if that was good. But we'll eventually get it all figured out. Anyway, so I don't know what to talk about if there's nobody here. Oh, somebody's back. I don't know who it is. We got one more to put on, and then we'll be ready to decorate, or actually cut our ribbon. Is that you there, Peg, or is that Patty? Okay. Uh-oh. There it is. Had my hand on it, hiding it. This will be our last piece of mesh. And now this is what our wreath looks like. Oh no. I'm not sure how well you can see it or how well the colors come out. They don't come out all that well on my computer. But I'm going to sit that over there for a minute. I'm actually going to sit back and rest my back just a little bit. I'm going to pull the table back toward me. These are the ribbons I'm going to be using this evening. Sorry, I had to look down there. I couldn't get it up on my iPad. Thank you for my hair, liking my haircut. Had to do something. It was driving me crazy. I don't. Maybe you weren't here when you were cleaning your kitchen. Mike and Ryder are upstairs, and Nick is at work, and Melinda's at work. She gets off in 5 minutes, and then she'll be home. And Lambert's just driving me nuts. I should send her upstairs too. These are the ribbons I'm going to use tonight. I found these at Dollar Tree. I'm not sure how sheer they're going to be. I don't like the ones that are just the color because they are very sheer. And to me, they don't really show up. But get out of my stuff, Lambert. But this one has Easter eggs on it. And this one's kind of cute. And it's got flowers and a spring design on it. And it really, that's all I could find right now because the box is about 2 foot by 3 foot by 2.5 to 3 feet deep, and it's full of ribbon. So actually, Michael dug in, and this is all I got out. But I'm going to cut these, and I don't know. I'm trying to think. Do I want to do them on every one, or do I want to just do them on the top? I don't really have out a lot of decorations. I don't need here to put on it. I don't have anything big for the middle. I decided to hold off on that. This makes a very poofy ring, and if people are going to hang it on their door, a lot of people are worried, but I have found that they do squish down. Now, I have a petal one on my door now, so I don't have to worry about it. But I put a big thick one on Sean's door, and his screen door closed over it just fine. Okay, fine. This ribbon is not working with me as far as getting the plastic off. Tracy. Okay, hi Tracy. Anyway, so what I did is I cut up the front of a honeycombs box or Cheerios or honey Cheerios or whatever. Notched so I know where the top is because Lori suggested that because she said she forgets where she's at, and trust me, I do too. So we have 15. So we would have to make, this is a 6-inch or a 12-inch. I'm going to make them, I think I'm going to make them 12-inch. We'll see how far the ribbon goes, because these are only 3 yards of ribbon. So 12, 9, I can make 9. My math is right. And you just roll it, and I made these so that I can have 5 or 10-inch ones, 6 or 12-inch ones, or 7 and 14-inch ones, because I don't think you would want to do over 14 inches. I'm just getting into the ribbon. I know the new thing now is for the ribbon to actually overtake the mesh on the wreath. Some wreaths that you see, you can't even see the mesh. All you see is the ribbon. But I don't care for that. And yeah, this cold does. I just got a message from somebody that said the cold is ucky. Okay, so actually this is our top. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this part off here. Stick it over here with the roll. You know what? She's right here by me, the dog, and she's waiting for this roll. And then I'm going to just stick my scissors in here and do this. And then I will have approximately 12-inch ribbons because you're going to crunch them in the middle. So make some 6 inches on each side. 1, 2, 3. I was going to see how many we got. 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? I think there's 7 here. I thought we'd get 9. But we got 7 and a bit, which tells me that they probably don't know what 3 yards is. Because 3 yards, right, said it's 2.5 inches wide and it's 3 yards. So 3 yards, there's 3 feet in a yard, right? So you figured that's 9 feet. And if you're cutting them 12 inches, a foot is 12. So you should be able to get 9 out of it, if my mathematics is correct. I did take that a long time ago. But I got 7. Yes, I see. So I'm just going to kind of take these half and half. And makes a pretty little end if you have to think about it. Fold it in half and just cut from here down to the wired side. They call that a dovetail. And it just gives it a little bit more poofy, not poofy, but fancy maybe. Is that the word I want to use? Makes them not look so just plain. How's that? Actually, I might have got 8. No, I think I only did 3 the first time. There's 4 here, so I think I'm guaranteed I'm at 7. Yeah. Sometimes this is hard to do, and I will get out, when I try to do several, I will get out my electronic cutter and try to do it. Because it's just easier. But that's okay. I'll just take these apart. So if there's 7 of these, and let's say we get 7 of the others, and there's 15 ties. I'm trying to debate right now exactly what I want to do. I want to put 2 of these together. Maybe I just want to alternate them and just put 1 on each thing. But then we'll still have 1 that won't have a ribbon. So let's just see how much we get out of our next. I'm going to look like Mr. Magoo again. Oh, she's watching us right now? Because it doesn't show her. Did you see the house with all the wreaths hanging on the front of it? If she's watching, that's where my son lives. They blew all over. That is a wind trap over there. So I'm going to try this again. Now he's got a nice St. Patrick's Day one on his front door. So I changed him out. I haven't changed out his flowers yet. It's been too darn cold. But as soon as we get some more warm weather, I missed my couple of days, I'm going to go over there and change out all of those poinsettias, and I'm going to change them out into roses. And then they'll stay like that in the roses probably till about April. Then I'll decide what I want to do. And by the way, just so you know, I will go get my other items. Sometimes I get flowers at Hobby Lobby when they're on 50% off week. But really, I just buy Dollar Tree flowers because I find them very pretty, very durable, and I can get more from a buck. More bang for my buck. Whatever. Okay, so once again, we have this little bit left. Sure. Yep, that's 6 inches. This is our top. So we're going to cut this. And we're going to take it off of here. Ah, I see. Yeah, I really tried to get this on my iPad so I could see if people commented or not. I don't know how people do it. I'm going to have to ask. I'm going to have to just break down and say, okay, stupid question. How do I go live on my laptop but have it also scrolling on my, they use their phones, but I would use my iPad. It sits right here by me. How do you do that? Because I see everybody doing it. So there has to be a trick. I need a teenager in the house again because I do not know how to handle my social media. Well, isn't that that'll work then. Okay, I guess whoever rolled up the flower one was a better person or better at math or measuring because I actually did get 9 of the flower ones, but only 8 of the egg ones. So that actually works out in our favor because there's 15, there are 15 ties. So if I have 7 of one, if I have 7 of one and 8 of the other, that means that I really, really do have the exact amount I need. So that worked out good. Kind of. Okay. I really do like these little ribbons. I think the little print ones are so cute. Never thought I would say that about ribbon, but I'm gonna throw those over there. That's where Lamba sits. So I throw those over there to her. And just for the giggles, I'm gonna put my glue gun back there so I don't start gluing things I don't want to. So this one had 8. And that goes. I'm trying to debate. This. I think I'm gonna be daring. Just use one at a time. Oh. Okay, normally I use 2 at a time, but I've decided to just use 1 today. We're gonna see how that works. All you do is you find the midpoint, scrunch it up, such, open your tie, stick it down in there, close your tie up, and this time I'm gonna twist 1, 2, 3, because by goodness golly, I'm gonna not put anything else on unless it's glued or zip tied. And wired ribbon's easier to work with because you can kind of form it to kind of shape the way you want. And because I'm a firm believer in hide your ties, I'm just going to go ahead, figure out where the mesh ends there, and I'm going to push my ties at least to the back when I finish them off. And that way I'll have them back there so I can tie them off and kind of get them hidden. And I think since I'm using 2, I don't know, a lot of times you can do an X pattern or you can bring 4 down. I'm just going to bring both of them down this direction. And the top, I'm going to do all the eggs. And then the bottom, I'm going to do the flowers. Because I just feel like being really different today. I can't tell if felt like there were 2 there. So find the middle, scrunch together. So, Patty, have you been using your Cricut? Have you been Cricut making? Because I guess a lot of people make They use that. They use the Cricut, and then they use the new thing is chalk couture, if I want to say. And it's, I have no idea. I assume it's making signs with chalk. I can only handle making wreaths and flowers, and sometimes that freaks me out. I've watched some people online, and bless their hearts, they can make lots of money and they're real into it. But yeah, I'm not there. I may never be there. I'm just what I like to call laid back Midwestern gal. Usually, I also like to classify it. Some people take offense, so I'm sorry if I offend anybody. But I'm just sort of your redneck hillbilly type of person, you know. I probably would be one of the people that plant flowers in a broken toilet in the front. That's just how I am. Some of these people are so way into it, and they have inner circles, and they sell wreath kits and do tutorials and make wreaths online with people. And not for me. If I make a couple little wreaths a week, I'm a happy camper. Two, three. And I will go from behind after I get all these in and make sure they're tucked really good. That one's kind of hard. That's kind of, I think, where we started. I do really like this ribbon. If I'm at Dollar Tree and see more, I may pick some more out because I didn't care for their see-through sheer kind, but I do like this one. It's kind of silky. And I really like the flower print. I did get 4 of those and just used 1 on this, so I still have 3 of those left. Trying to build up my ribbon collection. Like I said, when I started, I didn't do ribbon. I did flower picks and Christmas picks. And Mike's into birds, so we did some with birds on them and so forth. But I'm just now brave enough to start putting the ribbon on. And really, for something so simple that I was so afraid of. Maybe getting a visitor. Maybe hearing the garage door. I don't know. So if Melinda comes in and makes noise, you'll know. Because I told her I was going on. I didn't realize I would be on this long. This one really is taking quite a bit of time because of all of the stuff I'm putting on it, I guess. I mean, or I'm just slow. So we may cut this since it's over an hour. Not that I mind, but you guys might. Some people have other things to do, I guess. Maybe they're worried at these. Maybe I lied and blamed that poor lady for not being able to measure, and she could. Maybe I can't count. That might be what it was. I swear I counted that several times and it only came out 7. I still think I should be able to get it right at 9. 8, that's not bad. There was a little bit left over, so. And I even measured my little board again to make sure that it was actually 6. And it really was. But it doesn't matter because I have enough to do what I want to do with it. I have actually another roll of each if I needed it. So. And like I said, I used to not use ribbons, but ribbons kind of can almost make the wreath sometimes. All right. My apologies to the lady at DT that wound this up. There were 8 of them and not just 7. Maybe it's not the lady. Maybe it's the machine. But there were 8 of them. I didn't get 9 out of either one of them. But I did have this much left over on the flower one. And this much left over on the egg one. So that's close. I still say 3 yards should give you 9 cuts. But I guess you have to allow for they're not exact. This whole thing right there. I do talk to myself when I do this. You like the wreath? Do you like that ribbon? I really think that ribbon's pretty. It really makes it stand out. Or what is it they like to say? It makes it pop. You know, I never even started thinking of that term until I started redoing the house, and then you watch a lot of HGTV and everything, you know, like especially with who are those 2 boys? They're twins. Jonathan and Drew. Whoever they are, I can't think of the name of their show. Brain gas. But they used to say, that will make it pop. Especially the one that does, not the selling, but the designing part. Is that Jonathan? Scott. Now, on the bottom, I'm going to use these flowers. We're going to see how it looks. And let me tell you, if you're making these and you're using this, oh, hi, Peg. I bet you guys need different initials for the beginning, because when I'm doing like this, like Mr. Magoo, I can't tell if it says Peg or Pat. Sorry. Oh. Anyway, what I found right now with the Easter, because I made a few little ones that I gave out, and what I found is they have some styrofoam eggs at Dollar Tree, and they are the best tie cover uppers. You just glue them right on there where your little tie was, and it covers them little puppies right up. I'm trying to be all G-rated. Of course, if you're Patty, you're laughing right now and rolling off of your chair when I say that, I'm sure. But I think that'll look okay. They're kind of similar colors. It's just a different pattern. Uh-oh. Hold on one moment. Yes. What? I don't know if you can or not. I'm live. Bye. Okay. Can I park in the garage? I don't know. Get out and look. It's because we've been working with the saw and the drill press in there to make our items, and I don't know if her dad cleaned it up or not. But open the garage door, look, and make an educated decision. Uh-oh. Sounded like she said sit. However, there's no dog out there. So that's interesting. I don't know what she's telling to sit. Because I have no other animals. Unless it's the neighbor's cat likes to come over. Hi, my dog. And that's the other thing. I don't know about you guys, but my husband, Michael, never carries his cell phone. So anybody that wants to talk to him ends up calling me. So I never even give these. I don't even know what it is. I just push Michael on my phone when I want him. But he doesn't even answer for me, even when he's got his phone. He had his phone in his pocket today, and he was out, and I called him, and he didn't answer. So She's not coming through so you guys can see her and say hello. She went out the front door because I told her I was live. What a little turkey. But I only answered the phone because I saw her name come up and I thought, God, what? I didn't hear the garage door. So I thought, what if, she's had a car problem or something, or she needs, I was being the typical mom. What if she needs something? She just needed to know she could park in the garage. Okay. Thought maybe Jennifer or Susan would pop on, but I guess not. Poor sister Jenny was, I don't know if you remember Trixie, the last rat terrier. She had Sammy and he passed away Super Bowl Sunday a few years back. But she was taking Trixie in today. So I haven't heard anything from her since then. She just informed me. We weren't sure when she was going to do that. But she informed me she was going to have to take her in. So feel bad. I had Trixie for quite a while, for a few years. And Jennifer was, after she came back from Kansas the first time. But I couldn't. Trixie had so many allergies. I took her down to Florida when I first went, and there was no way that I could take her again. She was so miserable the whole time we were there from allergies. The pine pollen down there is atrocious. And I had cedar trees and stuff right by our house growing up, but I didn't realize pine had such a potent pollen. And the humidity bothered her down there a lot too. So. Just looking at the count again in the ties. I hear the baby upstairs. I don't know what his mother said to him. Didn't seem very happy. I shouldn't, I guess. Well, yeah, I can still call him a baby. He's what, 7? He'll be 17 months old on the 5th of February. Today's the 2nd. So he's still a baby. He's growing up way too fast. I'm telling you now, he's got such a personality. Oh, if you do something he doesn't like, you know it. Because he'll tell you about it. So he's got grandpa wrapped around his little finger, his daddy wrapped around his little finger, mommy pretty much wrapped around his little finger, but not grandma. I spoil him and I love him. But there's sometimes when Mr. Ryder and I have to have little talks. And I have to tell him, I claim BS. Especially when he's acting like he's going to throw a fit because he didn't get his way. I go, oh, that's BS. He just looks at me like, so? Yeah, well, they don't work on your grandma. Okay, either I can't count Life is crazy. So I have 2 ties left. Only 1 ribbon. But remember I told you we only needed, what did I say, 15? 8 on the bottom, 7 on the top. And then I decided I had 8 for the top. I had 8 of the eggs and 8 of the flowers. Well, I either can't count. I don't know. Something happened. I have 2 ties left on the bottom and only 1 flower ribbon. However, I have an extra egg ribbon. So I'm going to sneak it in there. That's what makes each wreath its own and unique, right? Maybe I should put it out there. Find the mistake. You know, like a Where's Waldo thing. What was I watching the other night? Oh, of course, you know, one of my guilty pleasures is watching WWE wrestling. And last Sunday, they had their little Royal Rumble. And that's one of Melinda and I's favorites because they send them out one at a time and then they fight for a while and they send out another one. But anyway, we were watching it and I go, oh my God, there's Waldo. And she said, what? I go, there's Waldo. She goes, what are you talking about? Sitting on the front row behind camera view was a guy dressed up just like Where's Waldo in the books. So I'm like, there's Waldo. It was funny. Yeah, I had to be there. Melinda did laugh when I told her that, though. All right. Beings I can't count, or these people, I don't know. Apparently, the wreath dictators didn't like me today. Or something, because... So we're going to just slip this extra egg ribbon right here in this tie. And I'll tell you, I know there was only 15 ties because I only cut 15 pieces of mesh. And that worked out perfectly. So don't ask me what got me messed up on this ribbon. But it doesn't matter because we had no more ribbon to cut. And it worked out because we had just exactly enough pieces of ribbon. But apparently I have a counting issue. Okay. Now, so now I've put all the ribbon I had. So I used both rolls of ribbon, which were only 3 yards long. 6 yards. Because you can buy them in different sizes. But this is the Dollar Tree printed ribbon. Some of their printed ribbon, this here, the spring flowers and the Easter eggs is a really good ribbon. Some of it I don't like. And usually, like I said, on a lot of them, I will do 2 ribbons together. I do a fatter one and then a thinner one. And I don't know why you do that. I would have thought it's because you're leaving the 2 of them together, but you don't. You spread them all out. So maybe it's just, I don't know. Anyway, this is what it looks like right now. We don't have any of our decorations on it. And I do have some decorations I kind of picked out before. These I did also get at Dollar Tree. And I don't have my favorite eggs out here. These are bigger eggs. These are egg pips, actually. But I don't use the pips. I just use the eggs. Let me get my other ones out. I have a big box underneath here. It had a handle, it'd be easier to move. I had to actually move the stuff because my helper starting to drag my, oh, there it is. It's starting to drag my stuff off. And she and Ryder both think these look like candy when they're not in their package. These are legs. These are the best cover-uppers and your holes where your mesh goes and stuff. If you use a pipe cleaner, you really don't have to cover it so much because, not a pipe cleaner, a zip tie. But I just kind of like to give it a little boost. I gotta move all my stuff. And then one day when I was at Dollar Tree. These are the cutest little bunny heads. They're kind of three-dimensional. So I liked them a lot. So I had to get some of those. Of course, I don't have my Betty Crocker scissors. I have my older scissors. I actually have a pair of scissors in my stuff. I don't have them out right now. They came from my home economics class when I was in 8th grade. So, you see a tie? I didn't tie. That's not good. I must have gotten confused as to what I was doing. I was probably talking. I love to talk. Mike will tell you that. Kids will tell you that. They don't like to see anybody in the stores because then Mom talks. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go underneath here while I'm looking at that one and thinking about it. And I want to make sure, because I pushed all these to the back. And I just want to kind of wrap them around the frame. So, I don't know if you can see them. But I just like to kind of wrap them around the frame and keep them out of the way, keep them from poking you, poking the door, whatever, wherever you put it, poking your wall. Some people, and sometimes I have also too, instead of wrapping them around, I've cut them off. I kind of like to leave them hanging on there for some reason, I don't know. Guess because it's easier. It's easier on my hands, I know that, since I don't like to grip and cut. If I'm going to cut these big, these are pretty thick wires actually on these. So if I was going to have to clip these, I'd probably have to call Michael. Because I don't have enough power to get them clipped down. I mean, I would figure out a way to do it if I had to. However, when I have that nice, strong man hanging around, I just make him do it. And it makes him feel useful. Makes him feel like he's part of the job, part of the project. In fact, when he made that storage area, I didn't even know what he had in mind. He kept trying to tell me, Mike, I can't understand. I just don't see your vision. You know, I don't know what you're talking about. So why don't you just make it, and then I'll tell you if I'm happy or not. And so he did. He kept trying to tell me about it, and I just kind of smile and nod. Kind of like you do when you live overseas and you don't understand the language. You just look at somebody and you smile and nod when they speak the language. Or you speak your language. I learned that when I worked at Naval Vending, because we had Icelandic drivers. And I was fussing about one of them because I would tell him what he needed to do with his paperwork. And he'd always act like he's going to smile and nod at me, you know. And so the one guy that spoke pretty good English, that we worked together, just the two of us in the office, because everybody got Friday afternoons off but us. One, he was maintenance, so he had to be there if anything broke, and I was American. They say that they gave them Friday afternoons off to compensate for the drive they had to make from Reykjavik to Keflavik over there, so they get a whole afternoon off paid. But he said, you don't understand. He said, that guy doesn't understand you, honey. He's just smiling and nodding to be polite. And like he thinks I'm just having a conversation. You know, I'm doing the books here, and I'm trying to tell him what he needs to do for me so I can do my job. Because, yeah, I'll talk to him. I said, thank you. And actually, the guy's name that I was talking to, his name was actually Valor. So, okay, I think we got them all covered. All right, here we go. All right. Now, and then I'm going to have to move my other wreath. When you lay a wreath down and you decorate it, it's a whole different world than if you set a wreath up and decorate it. So, Michael bought me, well, I think everybody saw it. The first thing he bought me was this little miniature, and I ended up getting rid of it because Lambda got a hold of it and chewed it. But I had this little miniature easel. He goes, here, honey, I got you an easel. And I said, gee, darn, thanks. But I bought this easel, and it's adjustable, so you can hang your wreath up here. I haven't put a hanger on this one yet. I will eventually get a hanger out the back. I like to put a hanger on that way if you get. So we're going to adjust the camera a little bit. There we go. This is what the wreath looks like before I put any decorations on it. With just the ruffle, with just the mesh and the ribbon. And I'm trying to decide, thinking I might just put one bunny on it. Do I want to put more? Then I had this sign, and I don't want to use these eggs. I think that's egg overload. But I was thinking what I might do is glue my little bunny and then accent the rest with eggs. That's what I'm thinking. No. Now, if you're making these two, floral wire is a really good thing to use because you can't see that. Well, I can't. Maybe other people can. But usually I don't, like I said, I don't use a lot of hot glue because unfortunately I've maimed myself. And I have a hard time getting one on this stuff. This one was really weird because I actually burnt the thumb right here. Now you can't see. I burnt my thumb right there. And of course, you know, got the blister and all that. But then like 2 days later, this blister all popped up all the way down to here. So I don't know why it did that. That was kind of a very odd, strange thing to me. So what I'm going to do is, I believe, that one. There's like a couple of fat ones and a couple of skinny ones. So we'll see how much I can do with these on. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to put, I don't know why, but I think I'm going to put the little bunny head right here. So I'm going to get out Mr. Trusty Glue Gun. And normally when I'm doing this, I will put parchment paper because trying to get it off the Fiskar board is a little bit difficult. However, if you put a piece of parchment paper down, that stuff goes down and it just poof, wipes right off. We're going to put this right in here. So I like to use, that's the thing, if you use hot glue, use parchment paper under it. Some people, you know, they use glass, they use all kinds of stuff. I use parchment paper. I had that because I made perlers, those little beads you melt together with an iron. And I would use those as the center of my wreaths. However, mostly what I made was from, say, Nintendo games and Mickey Mouses, and I've even known to make Sheldon from The Big Bang out of these perlers. And I'm kind of thinking that I could have a copyright issue. So I decided I just won't. I didn't sell them. They made them for my own pleasure, so that's okay. But if I used them on my wreaths, I'd be selling them. It's just like, and I don't know if anybody knows anything about copyright issue stuff. I was going to make team wreaths. And of course, I put it on my own Facebook because I'm from the Kansas City area. So you figured people down there like the Chiefs and they like the Royals. So I said, would anybody have an interest if I made these? Now I didn't. What do you have? Drop that. Drop it. I'm sorry, she has a marker. Of course, while I'm gluing. Of course, I didn't say what I was going to put on them. I didn't say anything about, oh, thank you, dear. I didn't say anything about, using teen symbols. Uh-oh, I found the other floral one. Okay, that's okay. Or anything. And the first thing somebody said to me is, be careful of the copyrights. So I don't know. Because I know that you see a lot of Husker things with a big N on it. So is the N a copyright since it's actually just a letter of the alphabet when you use it in association with like the Cornhuskers? I don't know if anybody knows. I did find a place where I could get, I'm just going to take the pics off. These are pics. What I'm doing is actually, I guess I'm going to lose the bow too. Oh well. So I just have big Aid. Oh, this one kept the bow. How exciting. But, I mean, when it comes to trademarks, I don't know exactly, or copyrights, whatever, exactly where I stand. I guess it would be a trademark if it was a team mascot or a team thing. Copyright, whatever it is. But if I just use, like, say I wanted to make one, because Nebraska, I see this a lot. So if I just used a big N, I wonder if that would be a copyright, if that would be an issue. I suppose that's where you get into paying for a lawyer to tell you these things. I am frantically searching for a glue stick because my glue has been all used. So, and it looks like I have to open a new package. The first one of these I'm going to use has a little bow on it, so I may try to get the little bows off their sticks and put them. I'm not sure. As a smart camper, I put at least a little piece down here since I'm going to be going right here. Almost looks like we could do some fondue. Little wood pick. The X came off there. I think we're going to keep the decoration on this one pretty darn simple. I think it's kind of cute without. So, I might not even have to use the smaller eggs on this one. Oh. This egg and its glue and its bow. Told you, hot glue is not my friend. If it had its way, it would definitely. Ouch, I got some on my fingers. If it had its way, it would take over my world, I'm sure. If I see more of those picks, I might have to pick them up because I like them. Definitely. And I guess these two little lights just don't have. Yeah. I really think I glued the orange thing on the blue and the blue thing. Okay. That worked out good. But let's do like that. All right. I really think we're going to leave this one totally simple. I kind of like the look of it with just the mesh and the ribbon. I don't know if you can see this or not. Looks. But I think we're just going to leave this nice and simple and just put it like this and say Happy Valentine's Day. I think we're done. I'm not sure if it's hard for me. I don't know how to read this live, so I'm not sure if there's anybody still here. I want to say no because the little eyeball went away. And I can't blame you because we've been on here a long time. Almost 2 hours to do this wreath. Somebody asked me once how long it takes, and now we know. Sometimes it takes me 2 hours. Anyway, that was Lambert, you could see in the background. This is what we ended up with. Our welcome Easter wreath. I'm going to let it go at that, and I'm going to get off of here and check on my babies. Tell my husband that he is more than welcome to come back down if he'd like and watch his TV or make his thing and then just go on from there. I will be back in a couple of days. I'm not sure exactly when. I've got to look at the hockey schedule. I'm not sure when the Bruins play again. I think they might play tomorrow, which means Sunday. There may be a chance I'm on Sunday, but I'm not sure. And soon, like I said, let your friends know I'm going to be opening up an Etsy store. I believe it's under Creative Wreath by CR because they limit you to how you name your store. So Creative Wreaths and Flowers wasn't going to work. So I think I made it Creative Wreaths by CR altogether. But I'll let you know that. Is that me? Ah, that's my nose. Wild. But I will let you know. But this is our finished product for tonight. I will be listing it on my webpage, or not my Facebook page. I don't have a webpage. I will be listing it on my Facebook page, and it will be one that unless it gets sold, it will go up on Etsy. So everybody have a nice evening. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching my videos. Share it, like it, tell your friends about it. I would appreciate it. Everybody have a wonderful evening and a good weekend. Bye-bye.